Hello, friends. Yesterday's gospel reading was one of my favorites, the multiplication of the loaves and the fishes. And if you remember, a vast crowd, thousands, are following Jesus, and Jesus says to his disciples, "Let's feed the crowd." Well, the disciples panic. How can we feed such a huge crowd? Even if we had 200 days' wages, that would not be enough even to make a dent in feeding this crowd. And then the apostle Andrew says, well, there's a boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what good is that for feeding a crowd like this? Very calmly, Jesus says, well, begin to distribute the loaves and the fishes, and we'll see what happens. And lo and behold, at the end of the story, there are 12 baskets full of leftovers. I think this wonderful gospel story from the Gospel of John teaches us 3 things. First, God wants to nourish us. Christ wants to share with us his divine life. And that's what the Eucharist is, a sharing in the divine life of Christ. Of course, the bread from this pericope, this gospel story, the fish, it's all a foretaste, a symbol of the Last Supper and of the Eucharist to come. But the Eucharist is no symbol. The Eucharist is the body and blood of Christ, soul and divinity of Christ. Christ shares his very being with us. The second lesson is that God can do great things with seemingly very little. Again, it was a couple of loaves of bread, 2 fish, and with that, Christ feeds the multitudes and continues to feed the multitudes in the Eucharist that we receive today, in parishes and churches throughout the world. I think too of our human experiences. Think of some of the volunteer organizations and mission trips that some of you have been on, that Chaminade and Kellenberg have run from time to time. My mind goes specifically to the St. Bernard's Parish Project, which we participated in for 6, 7, 8 years. We brought 20 boys down, 10 from Chaminade, 10 from Kellenberg, and participated with other bands of volunteers to help rebuild homes in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. All volunteers, very few people with any kind of expertise in carpentry or plumbing or electricity, seemingly very little and very little talent. But with that, God is able to do great things. So too with religious communities, men and women who come together, who on their own are of no particular social standing. But when they band together, they have taught in schools, they have worked in the missions, they have staffed hospitals, they have brought Christ to others. Again, with seemingly very little, Christ can do a great deal. And finally, the last message is this: never underestimate our God. Lord, what can we do with 5 loaves and 2 fish? Well, actually, quite a bit. Christ can do a great deal with seemingly little, and that should be a consoling and wonderful message for all of us. So keep those things in mind as we remember this wonderful story of the multiplication of loaves and fishes. From seemingly little, God can do great things. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. God bless.